Hey everyone, John Michael here on the H2OMG podcast. Today we have a very special episode with a panel of people here to talk about the upcoming TakeBack event on October 24th, 2020. We have Officer Daniel Segura from the Fort Worth Police Department.
Hello everyone, this is Daniel Segura. I've been with the city 18 years and I'm in the Public Relations Office.
Awesome, thank you for participating in this, Daniel. We also have Mashal Atif from the City of Fort Worth's Code Compliance Department.
Hey everyone, this is Michelle. I'm a material management planner for the City Solid Waste Department. I'm so glad to be here.
Thank you, Michelle, for being here. We also have Kiera Woods from Challenge of Tarrant County.
Hi, everyone. Yes, I'm Kiera Woods. I'm the program director at Challenge of Tarrant County. I run a drug-free coalition called Stay on Track that covers Northeast Tarrant County.
All right. Thank you for being here, Kiera. And we have Hilda Zuniga from Fort Worth Water, who you've heard on a bunch of different episodes of the podcast.
Hey everyone, so I'm with Customers Engagement in Water, and we're going to be talking about the TakeBack event coming up pretty soon.
So Hilda, can you tell us exactly what a TakeBack event is and who can benefit from it?
Sure, so this is a national event sponsored by the Drug Enforcement Agency. It takes place twice a year, once in the spring and then once in the fall. Its main purpose is to offer residents a safe way to dispose of their prescription drugs, and it doesn't matter whether they are prescribed drugs or not, over-the-counter drugs as well, and then pet drugs are also welcome. If you have any of those that have been expired or not unwanted, or you simply aren't using those, this is the place to get rid of them. On this day, temporary collection sites are set up around the city of Fort Worth and other places for the safe disposal of prescription drugs. On October 24th, Fort Worth is partnering with the DEA with 7 locations around the city. This is a free and anonymous service available to households, and there is no limit on the amount of meds that can be brought in. This is not an event through which businesses should be getting rid of their meds. This is only for residents and households. And then how long has Fort Worth participated in this event? Michelle can give us more information on that.
Yeah, so we've actually been a part of the drug takeback for the past 10 years. With the first event we held was in November 2010. And for that very first year, we ended up collecting 12,467 pounds of medicine, which is huge.
Mm-hmm.
So we've been doing this for a while now.
That's a lot of medicine, especially when you think about how much a single pill weighs. How much medicine has been collected in Fort Worth to date, Michelle?
Yeah, that's a huge number. So to date, we've collected 16 and a half tons of medicines over the 18 events that we've had since 2010.
Wow.
And then the DEA has actually collected a total of 5,908 tons of medicines, which is huge when you think of how tiny one pill actually is.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So why is it important for the police to be involved during the collection sites?
Well, it is very important for the police department to get involved because of many questions that the community or community members might have. One of the top reasons will be we help to prevent any overdose or any intake of this pills, medicine that might look like candy for young children. So we help everyone in getting rid of those medications on a safe method. Also, not many people know that if you have a prescription in your possession that it's not supposed to be yours, well, that can be also a crime. So we help and support the TakeBack Meds events to prevent, number one, fatalities, overdoses, and number two, to educate the community on how to safely get rid of these medications. And You're going to see police officers at each of those locations on October 24th. Don't be alarmed. Don't be afraid. You are just there for the safekeeping of the event. We're not going to check any criminal backgrounds. We're not going to check your license. We're not even going to check your license plate if you pull up in a car. So don't be afraid if you see police officers on site. That's just for the safekeeping, the safe collection of these meds on October 24th. And the officers that are there, they're there also to connect with the community. If people have questions, because I've been in some of these events and they come up to us and they ask us about, how can I get rid of not just meds, but other items that they have at the house, including weapons. How do I get rid of a weapon? This might not be the place to get rid of it, but it's a very good time to connect and to ask questions to a police officer.
So we've heard a little bit about why it's a bad idea to just throw medication in the trash because kids might find it and get into it, and it's also illegal, like Officer Segura said, to possess it if it's not prescribed to you. But why, Hilda, is it not a good idea to just flush this old medicine? Why can't I just flush this down the toilet?
Yeah, so according to the Drug Enforcement Agency, about 30% of all dispensed medications are not used, which means there's a lot of leftover medication at home just sitting there, or they're being flushed and trashed. And flushing medication down the toilet pollutes the environment. We should all know that. It can get into our waterways, affecting our drinking water. Those are the lakes, the rivers, the creeks, and eventually the oceans. Wastewater treatment plants, this is very important, are not designed to remove medications from the water they treat. And that eventually goes back again into the lakes, the rivers, the creeks, and the ocean. And then we have the fish and other aquatic animals. They have been showing adverse effects from the medications that are being flushed. So trashing medicines in the garbage, especially controlled substances, harms the environment as well. And when we trash them, the drugs will eventually leak from the trash bags and cause soil contamination, which is something huge too. Drugs can be found by pets poking into the trash, and worse, they can be misused by people. Prescription medications pose a danger to people, pets, and the environment if we don't dispose them properly.
So you mentioned pets, and pets take a lot of medicines too. And just so everybody knows, those pet medicines can also be disposed of safely at TakeBack events. They also accept those. So if anyone has a lot of pet medicine laying around. So we talked about this a little bit already, Kiara, but could you tell us more about the dangers of just throwing these unwanted or expired medicines in the trash and what how Challenge approaches that?
Absolutely. So according to insurance data, about 40% of previous drug overdoses resulted in persons who did not actually have a prescription for that medication. So what happens is if we throw our medications in our trash can, I remember when I was younger, my grandmother went dumpster diving, and I see that a lot, even especially in the country in our more rural areas, but we're looking for some type of treasure. Mm-hmm. That concept is the same thing with our prescription meds. You put them in the trash can and they can easily be removed by whether it's a child, a curious teenager, or a current user. And that's exactly what we do not want to happen. For obvious reasons, when it comes to our children, for our toddlers, it looks like candy. They have no concept of danger. Teens, they're aware that it doesn't belong to them. However, what would happen? What will be the result? How will my body feel if I just try it? And then, of course, users, a user is not concerned with where it's coming from, but as long as they can get their hands on it. And so our goal is to properly dispose of medications to prevent it from getting into the wrong hands. We also have the issue of your confidentiality and privacy. If you're just throwing your pills away, especially if the whole pill bottle, you're leaking out your own personal information. to anyone who's willing to go through the trash and receive that.
Yeah, that's a good point. It has your whole address and your whole name on there and everything. Yeah,
Absolutely.
Sure, that's a good point.
So, Officer Segura, you have already convinced me to bring medications to the collection sites. How are the medications collected, and then eventually what do you do with those?
That's a really good question, Hilda. Actually, I think we're going to have 7 collection sites. We have volunteers who help us out in safe packaging the medications that we receive. So once we're finished with the event on October 24th, we will seal those boxes because we have boxes. We will seal them up. We documented how many boxes we have, the weight of each box, and that's one of the reasons why the police officer is there. That police officer will take those boxes to what we call our property room. And then our property room, we will deliver those boxes with all the meds in it. And then the property, which is the lab, they will safely and legally destroy all these medications collected the day of. So we're there, again, to safely collect the medications, to connect with the community, to educate the community, and then we will transport those boxes to our property room, where eventually they will be safely and legally destroyed by other departments. So we get rid of those. Some of those medications are extremely dangerous. So we need to dispose of them on a safely and proper way, and legally way.
Michelle, what should people do to prepare for turning in their meds on October 24th?
Yeah, so just take all of the medicines that are expired. You don't want them anymore. Just put all of them in a bag or a box, and then you can, if you want to, you can remove all your personal information, that label that's on there, but you don't have to because they do just go in the box and then they're incinerated. So you will come up to the collection site, just because of COVID, just make sure you all are wearing a face covering, and you stay inside your vehicle at all times. And then a volunteer or somebody will come and take that bag or box from you, and they're going to throw it in the boxes that we are given by the DEA.
So, are medicines really hazardous waste? Do you consider that as such?
Yeah, they are. So medicines are chemicals. Any chemical is toxic in our environment. So that's why, Hilda told us, Kiara told us, they are toxic when they're flushed or trashed. And so that's why they need to be disposed of properly, in a way that does not affect more people or the environment.
So, Officer Segura, what should a person do on October 24th if a take-back collection site isn't taking place near them?
Well, I know that some cities, some businesses have safe boxes or safe drop-off sites. Check with their local pharmacy. They might know where one of these safe boxes are, and they can dispose of those medications at that location as well. But hopefully, they can make it into Fort Worth. We would like to get to know them and connect with them.
And sorry,
just add a little bit on that. They can also go to meddropbox.org and a list of all the permanent locations in Fort Worth, but because we do have permanent locations, the event that we're having on October 24th is a temporary site, so which means they move around the city just to give those people that might not have a ways to get to those permanent locations another option to get rid of their meds. But you can always check the meddropbox.org, and all the locations in Tarrant County that are near you, you can find in not just on October 24th, but year round, you can get rid of your meds that way. So, Michelle, what items are accepted and what are not in these temporary sites?
Yeah, so any pills, prescription, over-the-counter medicine, vitamins, any medicine samples you have, pet medication, all of that is accepted. The only things that we don't accept are any equipment that are used to give those medicines. So needles, anything sharp, inhalers, or thermometers, those are things that we cannot take in the boxes.
So, Kiara, since Michelle mentioned that they can't take needles and sharps, those aren't accepted, what can people do to get rid of those kinds of things safely?
Well, there are a few, and I do mean a few locations that do have sharp containers attached to those safe drop box locations. So those permanent medication drop box locations. I suggest calling the closest locations to see if they do have those. However, in the meantime, of course, you can always use the safe container method. So if you have like a laundry detergent box or something that's really thick, you can take those needles and sharps and place them in there. If you have the ability to break that needle before you put it in that container, that's even better, so that those needles can't be reused for any purposes. And then you would seal them with duct tape or something really secure, and then you can safely dispose of them that way. Do not put them in recycling. You would place them in your trash bin.
So, Michelle, what if a person is unable to participate in the collection event that we're talking about?
So like Hilda had mentioned before, Fort Worth has a ton of permanent locations throughout the city. And you can take your medicines the same way. You can take them to those boxes and drop them off there. And if you go to the website, www.meddropbox.org, it'll tell you the closest location to where you are, and you can just take it over there.
The last thing I wanted to ask everybody is if their organizations have anything they want to promote, any events or virtual events or anything coming up that you want to mention that people might be interested in?
Well, I can say this is Kiera with Stay on Track. We have a Stay on Track page. You can literally put in the @SOT Keller, but it's Stay on Track. And we are hosting several interviews. So just like Officer Segura mentioned about why the police are at the Dropbox locations or the TakeBack locations, again, we work with police departments over on Northeast Tarrant County, all over, not just Fort Worth, but Watauga and Keller and Hazlitt. But with that, we try to offer the community opportunities to learn more about, safe, how to properly use their medications and just overall health and wellness. And so we promote those events on our Facebook page. We go live, we have a YouTube channel, and we have really great stuff coming up for you guys.
Great. All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for taking the time to do this. It's a really important thing that we talk about. So thank you. Thanks again.
I have one more thing. Is it too late to start recording? Okay. I just wanted to add that Stay on Track is a community coalition. We have monthly meetings, and we are completely open to anyone who wants to attend. So if you want to get involved in community, make a difference in community with keeping it safe and healthy, keeping drugs out of our community, we meet every second Tuesday of the month, and I'll also provide you with a link to that. And we offer 2 options, 2 times, 10 a.m. and 2 p.m., and they are virtual to accommodate varying schedules. But we have a lot of programs we're putting on and a lot of community events. It's also a great way to promote your organization, your events, and to network and add additional resources to your list.
Perfect. Thank you. All right.
Thank you,
That does
guys.
it. Thanks again, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.